You used to dream differently. You didn't think about money or reputation or efficiency. You just wanted to become something. A voice, a sound, a force that mattered. Then life started whispering all the reasons you shouldn't try so hard. And you listened. You told yourself it was maturity. You called it being realistic. But somewhere along the way, you stopped chasing what set you on fire and started perfecting the art of pretending that you're fine. You're not fine. You're surviving in slow motion. Every day looks the same because you've convinced yourself that safety is the same thing as peace. It's not. Peace is earned through honesty, not through avoidance. And the more you hide from what you truly want, the quieter your soul becomes. You think you've outgrown your dreams, but maybe you've just outgrown the courage to be misunderstood. Because every dream, every act of creation begins with humiliation. People will mock you. They'll underestimate you. They'll talk behind your back until you start succeeding, and then they'll talk even louder. You tell yourself you don't care what they think, but you do. You always have. You care because you still want to belong. And belonging, more than failure, is what keeps you stuck. You've been trained to fit in since childhood, to stay small, polite, invisible. And every time you tried to rise above, someone told you to stop showing off, so you learned to shrink, to dim your light just enough to be accepted. Now you call it humility, but it's really fear wearing a halo. The truth is, you were meant to stand out. That ache you feel when you see someone living boldly isn't jealousy, it's recognition. You're seeing a version of yourself that you buried under the weight of approval. Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote that the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you'll be lonely often, and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. You keep waiting for confidence to appear, as if it's a reward. But confidence is built like scar tissue, through friction, embarrassment, and repetition. You don't get it by being ready. You get it by being willing. You've mistaken readiness for permission. You think you need the perfect timing, the perfect plan, the perfect version of yourself before you begin. But perfection is just another disguise for fear. Plato once warned that the unexamined life is not worth living. Most people think that means self-reflection. It doesn't. It means participation, to live a life that demands examination. A life that's full enough to make you question, fail, and begin again. But you've traded participation for observation. You watch others live and call it inspiration. You scroll through their victories, and then you go back to your comfort, because at least there, no one can judge you. Comfort tells you that you're safe. But really, it's saying, stay small, stay quiet, stay predictable. And every time you obey, you lose another fragment of yourself. You don't need motivation. You need confrontation with the part of you that still believes you're not enough. Because that part has been running the show for years. It's the voice that says, don't bother, you'll fail. It's the whisper that says, people like you don't get to do things like that. It's the ghost of every moment you tried once, were laughed at, and decided never to try again. Machiavelli said fortune favors the bold. He didn't mean reckless. He meant audacious. The ones who dare to look foolish long enough to learn something. You've mistaken caution for wisdom, but wisdom without risk turns into decay. The mind is like a muscle. If you stop testing it, it stops growing. If you stop dreaming, it starts dying. That's why so many people feel numb. Not because life is meaningless, but because they've stopped demanding meaning from it. They stopped creating, loving, risking, failing, rebuilding. They started living like ghosts, haunting their own routines. Dietrich Bonhoeffer warned that the greatest danger to a person isn't evil, it's apathy, the slow surrender of conviction. When you stop caring deeply enough to act, you become part of the machinery you once despised. You tell yourself, it's too late. But that's just another lie fear uses to buy time. You could start today and still become everything you were meant to be. The question is, will you? You won't feel ready. You'll never feel ready. But that's the point. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. The first time you speak your truth, your voice will shake. The first time you take a risk, your hands will tremble, but one day, they won't. One day, your fear will realize it's not in control anymore. That's when you'll start living, not existing, not performing, not pleasing, living. You'll remember that hunger you had as a child, that burning curiosity that made you ask, what else is possible? And when you start following it again, the world will open in ways it never did before. You'll lose people, you'll offend some, you'll disappoint the ones who like the smaller version of you, but that's okay. They were only ever characters in the story you've outgrown. You don't owe them comfort, you owe yourself evolution. Because the world doesn't change when you finally get permission, it changes the moment you decide to stop asking for it. That's when life becomes yours again. Raw, unpredictable, alive. You were not made to tiptoe through existence waiting to be liked. You were made to burn, bright enough to see the truth and brave enough to live it. So stop rehearsing, step forward, say the thing you've been afraid to say, do the thing you've been waiting to start. You will be scared, do it anyway. Because someday, the only thing more terrifying than failure will be realizing that you never even tried. And by then, it will be too late to become who you might have been. Don't wait for someday. Don't wait for peace. Don't wait for perfect. Start now. Imperfect, trembling, alive. Because this version of you, the one still doubting, still hoping, still breathing, is the only one who can change everything.